Hello, everybody. All right, so we are going to be looking at quadrilaterals, identifying trapezoids and classifying quadrilaterals. So doing those two sections. So to preface, first, let's look at some of the shapes and what a quadrilateral is. Okay, so quadrilateral is a shape with four sides. Okay, so if it doesn't have four sides, that's 5, 6, 3, 7, whatever it is, it's not a quadrilateral. Okay, a square. It's going to be important. It's a parallelogram with four right angles and four congruent sides. If you look at the second image up there, the little boxes in the corners, that's going to mean it's going to be a 90-degree angle. It's going to be a right angle. And there's going to be four of them. They're all congruent. They're all the same. All right, a rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles. So look at the first image on the top. You have the 90-degree angles in all four corners. And then you have the red lined up with the red on the top. Top and bottom are parallel and congruent. And then we have the two other sides, the two blue sides. All right, parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel and congruent. Okay, so let's look at that one. So that the corners are not necessarily 90-degree angles. The opposite corners are going to be congruent to each other. Okay, and then the sides blue are lined up with the blue, top and the bottom are lined up as well. Okay, a rhombus is a parallelogram with four sides that are congruent. Okay, so rhombus is going to be the third image right there. So those are not 90-degree angles, but necessarily. All sides are equal and opposite sides are parallel. Isosceles trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides called bases and one pair of congruent non-parallel sides called legs. So if you look at this image on the top, they have one side of parallel sides, and then there's two that are a little bit different sized. Okay. Kite is the last image on the far right, adjacent pairs of sides that are equal. Okay, so the two pairs of sides are congruent and adjacent. So typically, kite, like in this image, the two red sides are going to be congruent, and then the two base blue sides are going to be congruent. Okay, and you can make you mark out the lines across, up and down and across, or side to side, is going to give you a 90-degree angle. All right, so the first section we're going to look at is identifying trapezoids. Yeah. All right, so this first image, when they have the arrow right here, that's a big indicator that those sides are going to be parallel. And then the markings right here, these are going to be congruent. So same length right there. All right, so that's going to be yes. This is polygon and trapezoid. I don't see any markings on this, and there's four sides. Yes, it fulfills that, but there are not parallel congruent. So this one is going to be a no. All right, is this polygon trapezoid? And this one is going to be yes. There's the two markings on the top and the bottom. Those are parallel. Oops, and let me click on. Okay. This polygon and trapezoid. So they kind of tried to trick you. So it's got four sides. The lines are equal length on those two sides, but they're not, one line's curving in, they're different angles on that. So this is actually not going to be a trapezoid. This one here, count how many sides you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no, that's not a trapezoid. All right, let's skip up and let's do one more. Okay, select all the trapezoids. All right. So let's click on all the ones that are. Okay, so they all have four sides. They all have parallel lines across from each other. And yeah, so they're all going to be trapezoids. All right, so that's going to be that first section there. Moving on to our next section. is going to be classifying quadrilaterals. Okay, so we're going to look at multiple different images, shapes. Okay. So let's look at our shapes one more time before we start this next section. Okay, so here's all our shapes there. Can a parallelogram have 90-degree angles? Yes. Okay, as long as they're opposite sides, they're parallel and they're equal. So let's take a look at the first one. All right, which terms describe the shapes? Choose all that apply. Okay, so rectangle and square are going to be no-nos because they're not right angles. So I mark those out. Oops. Yeah, this one is going to be a parallelogram. Okay, not a rhombus because they're not all equal. Clear it out. Okay, let's look at this next one. Okay, so all four corners are 90 degrees, they're right angles. Okay, so that's going to give me a rectangle. It's going to be a square. They're actually all four sides are congruent. So it's going to be a rhombus, and then it's also be a parallelogram. So this one's actually going to fulfill all four. Okay. Skip ahead. All right, let's look at this next image. So let's see, it's got four sides, so it's going to be quadrilateral. No, it's not going to be a square. So let's mark out the square on that. No. Kite, quadrilateral with two pairs of sides that are congruent adjacent. No, it doesn't work. Rhombus, rhombus is a parallelogram with four sides that are congruent. No, so this is just going to be considered a quadrilateral. Yeah, let's do just a few more here. So let me pause this for a moment. All right, so looking at this one, terms it best describes this shape. It's not a kite, not a trapezoid, it's not a rhombus. So this one's just got to be a rectangle. All right, looking at this next one here, it's not a square because the corners are not 90 degrees. So no. Quadrilateral, yes, four sides. Rhombus, they're all congruent. So yeah, that works too. Isosceles trapezoid, no. So let me erase that. Let's look at this one last image here. All right, let's look at that one more time. Okay, so quadrilateral shape with four sides. Parallelogram is quadrilateral with both pairs opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Kite, quadrilateral, two pairs of sides are congruent and adjacent. Adjacent is key. This one right here, that is going to be a kite. So let's mark that out. Okay. It's a quadrilateral. No, it's not a parallelogram because the opposite sides are not congruent here. And it's not a rhombus because it's a parallelogram. Four sides are congruent. So it's going to be a kite and a quadrilateral.